Now, before lockdown, you might have thought TikTok was just the sound of your living room clock. But now you might recognise it as the video sharing app, which has a huge A-list following, including Dame Judi Dench, who says TikTok saved her life when she was lonely in lockdown. So clearly the app has an adult fan base, but you might be surprised to hear that 20% of all 4 to 15-year-olds also regularly use it. And as well as the hilarious videos and the catchy dance routines, many parents may not know that there is a darker side to the app, and there are real concerns about the kind of content children might have access to and who is watching their videos as well. And Nadia, over the weekend, you sort of went on to TikTok just to see what children might be watching, and you were just a bit shocked at what you found.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I'd also say that there's an awful lot of it that's really inventive and creative and great, and I had really good conversations.
And very well produced, actually, when you see some of those pieces. There's a lot of time goes into it.
Yeah, and you know, and I think there is a lot of enjoyment to be had, but with so many things like this, as you said, there can be a dark side. I think one of the things is, and we hear this time and time again, that you're actually supposed to be 13, but there isn't any there's nowhere that you have to verify that.
4-year-olds?
Yeah, 4, that would worry me. Because there are things like, there's some creepy older guys on there, like doing the dances, some very unkind messaging goes on. There's some really dangerous challenges. I mean, one at the moment, it might not have been so dangerous before the current climate. This is a cereal challenge. Apart from anything else, it sounds so disgusting, as in breakfast cereal. It sees people eat breakfast from a friend's mouth, rush to finish the meal before their partner gags. So you can imagine that just for... never mind COVID, but also what a choking risk there is to that. And it's just the sort of things kids would dare each other to do. Another really shocking one, a group of teenagers were filmed the moment they came across a suitcase with plastic bags filled with human remains. Now, if you think there's 4-year-olds, that you could stumble across this kind of content, and all kinds of dangerous challenges like the skull breaker and everything. Yeah, so there's a lot going on there.
I don't understand it at all. So can it be private? Or so when you say that people can put messages, can anybody see what you put up?
Oh,
well, there are privacy settings,
Right.
We actually did get in touch with TikTok, and they have prompted that any new under 18-year-olds who become users, that their account is private at setup. And again, when a user posts for the first time, so it slightly eases you into it, I guess, before you're completely out there as public. They also say if moderators believe that someone using TikTok does not meet the age requirements, TikTok's policy is to remove and permanently block the account. I mean, they admit themselves that there's a lot of work still has to be done in this area. We all know that in all social media platforms. I mean, all sorts of age groups.
Social media operates faster than the law can catch up.
Absolutely, and we find the loopholes. I mean, you know, our youngsters and teenagers are very smart at how to work around any kind of rule anyway. So I don't know how you're supposed to police it.
I mean, my girls say that, you know, one of the big things about it is the body image thing. They said it's much, much, much worse than Instagram in their opinion.
See, that's interesting.
Yeah,
because... Is it just people are a bit more opinionated on this platform?
Yeah, so there are these stunningly beautiful, perfect, whatever that is, girls. And then there's reams of messages with people saying, oh, no, you know, bum's too flat, waist isn't small enough, thighs don't touch. I said, are thighs supposed to touch now? We have the thigh gap? That's how I said it to my girls. So the thigh gap's out and the thighs now have to touch. I said, yeah, listen to how crazy that is. This is fashion. So that left me a bit like, oh, God, another one to deal with. I looked through myself and I found quite a few things that I found worrying. One of which was a fasting app which flashed up. It was an advert for a fasting app, which clearly, for a flatter tummy, which clearly, when you think about what I've just said there, you know, the idea is now everyone's got to have a big bum, a flat tummy and legs that stick together. That's going to bring in a lot of kids.
Even if you think that they stick to the rules, which is 13-year-olds, 13-year-olds shouldn't be being bombarded with a fasting app.
Absolutely
It's absolutely disgraceful, exactly. I also saw one actually for metabolism drops. Come on, we all know what they're suggesting there. But also the language is, you know, it's very explicit. So if you're sensitive about that, think about that your child will be seeing a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the ones that was really worrying for me, and I'm not going to name it because I'm aware of kids watching, But there was this whole thing about how to arch your back for, you can imagine what, positions.
Oh,
Positions.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah.
These are things...
I just thought it was for silly dances.
Yeah.
Well, it is that as well, and I do think there's a lot in it that I think is really great. But it's like everything. I think the thing is you've got to be aware of it as a parent.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You can't just go, oh, well, I didn't really know, which is kind of what we all do sometimes because we're so involved with other stuff.
But this is the thing, Kelly, I guess. I mean, as parents, we can't be oblivious to these sorts of apps. As much as we maybe don't want to join them and be part of it, we have to be aware of them because our children definitely are.
Absolutely. I mean, my children are 8 and 6 and they don't have mobile phones. I don't think there's any need for them to do that. They do have devices which have parental locks on. They have timers on, so they can only use them up to a certain amount of time, and then literally they get logged off. So they have 2 hours and they only use them at the weekend. And the other thing I do is I watch what they're watching with them. I think sometimes parents can be their own worst enemies and they say, oh, I didn't know. So what I do is I look at what the content is that they're watching and I'll watch it with them. And I caught Kaori the other day watching Barbie and I'm thinking, harmless, she's watching Barbie, she's 6. And I was watching it, and actually the subliminal messages with Barbie, I really didn't like at all. Firstly, again, a bit like what Nadia was saying, she needed to be blonde, she needed to be really skinny, she need to have a really tiny waist. But also the way she was treating Ken, I was not having that at all. She treated him really poorly, like he was some kind of doormat, like fetch, go do this, go do that, go do this and go do that. And I was like, well, Kaori, I just need you to understand that that's not how you treat anybody, fair less your boyfriend or a partner in your future. So yeah, I think for me, I just have like a pretty much zero tolerance policy because I think I have to be responsible for what they're watching until they get to an age where they make those decisions themselves. And now they come to me, funnily enough, and say, oh, mummy, look, I've seen this. It's educational. Is that okay to watch? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I may be criticised for being quite harsh, but I'd rather protect them until they're old enough to make some sensible decisions.
Yeah, better to be harsh than sorry, I say. I mean, my kids are so far apart. The oldest had like a Nokia brick. But now, the younger one, when she wanted a phone at sort of like 12, I felt like I was handing on a rectangular plate everything to her that I'd been trying to protect her from.
Yeah, it's very
it's like that.
Yeah, we do. But you've a great relationship with the girls too, that you can talk, you see, which
I just think it's really important with phones not to become hysterical about things because my girls do tell me all this stuff because I just say, oh, OK, and just show me, let's have a look, and because they'll hide it otherwise.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned the fasting app on TikTok there. You know, Loose Women did put it to TikTok and flagged it, and it has been removed.
Oh, that's great.
So there is power to do things
TikTok.
if we're coming across stuff we're just not happy about.